Good evening, good day, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining. It's quite an exciting evening for me. It's two ladies on today. But first, some housekeeping. So, for whoever is in the chat, please again be respectful, accept everyone's opinion. Don't be rude, otherwise, I'll chuck you out. I will try not to look at the chat so I can concentrate on the ladies. Also, if you want read, please in capital letters at the beginning, comment or question so we can then look into this at the end of the live. Also, I'm starting something new today. I want to, because I'm a small channel, I know I have not a lot of impact yet, but there's a lot of other people with small channels. So I'm going to start support every time I'm either live or I have a pre-recorded video that I'm uploading on my channel. I will be promoting another small channel. And today it's this while. I'm not going to let it run all the time because it's distracting. And for the people who know me, they know I'm being very easily distracted. So I am very sorry. I'm going to go into the comments quickly to say hello to whoever is here. And then I will get this lady off the stage area and we'll welcome her. Kajun Juju, Irish Mart, Style Audit 1A, Amy, and Yolanda. Thank you very much for joining. I really, really appreciate it. It's been quite a few months that I was hoping to do this one day. Hi, Kirby's mom. It is Fatgrammy, aka Mona. I will rather call her Mona than Fatgrammy. Hi, new name. Yeah, it's stream. I'm sorry, I can't go live on YouTube itself. I have issues with that. I do not know why. We have to do it with. Okay. Okay, so I'll remove the comments and then we're going to say hello to the ladies. And we're going to add, oh, I'm already added, Mona and AuditLA. How are you today?
Good. Yourself? And hi, chat. I can't see chat, but hi, chat.
And I'm doing great, Brigitte. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. They were telling us it was going to start to rain and snow together. They've been saying that for a while, rain, but no snow. I miss the snow. You know, for the ones who don't know, I'm from Switzerland and winter time. And I don't have that very often here in Scotland. But the reason where I am near the beach and the sea, you very rarely get snow. And when you have it because of the sea, the wind, the breeze that you have near the sea, so it doesn't stick. You know, real snow where you can walk into it. You know, and it makes. Oh, I miss that. But hey, like my mother always says,
we have about 4 or 5 inches outside, and I think Haggis was saying they got 3 foot on the other side of the lake. So I'm glad we didn't get 3 foot.
Yeah, I don't miss snow.
It's that would come up about here. I'm 4'4". Swimming in the snow. I grew up in Zurich, big city in Switzerland, and we had a lot of snow I even learned to drive on snow and ice. So that's just to tell you. So it's good to ahead at the time. In this country, people don't know how to drive when it snows, or don't realize that there might be ice underneath the snow on roads. Lots of people don't know you shouldn't go on the brakes, and things like that. So anyway, we're not here about talking about snow. I'm going to talk about you two. In my eyes, you are the Wonder Women, my Wonder Women, because I found you amazing. You do amazing work. We don't speak enough about it, but I'm glad that people have now started interviewing you. And I don't want to repeat everything that you already answered somewhere in the chat, but just shut me up. But I want to more first, like everyone is asking that as well, is how did you get into this movement, and how did you decide to do what you are doing at the moment, which important?
I
Mona
just have to, there's
or
a
Audit?
little bit of a slag, like a little bit of a lag. So I don't know if it's glitching for anyone else, but for me. So I don't know if are you asking I mean, are you asking Mona or me? I
Well,
heard the
we'll start
question.
with you, Audit.
Okay.
You have an A at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah, it's StreamYard apparently. I don't see any glitches at all.
okay, but I heard the question about how I got to make sure how I got involved. Basically, I was already following Streets because I followed him I was really into the police accountability movement, having come out of volunteering on the CPAB with LAPD. So I was already following all that. And then on TikTok, and then somebody's, like I sent me the video about him at the Scientology. I'm like, wait a minute, I know this voice. Besides, I said, wait, this is the guy. He's police accountability, and he yells at robots. Like it's that guy. And so I was
He has a
fascinated.
special voice. It's
He
quite
does.
recognizable, isn't it?
Yes, and so he had a different name, whether he
Ah,
wasn't going by Film the Police. It was, something else. He's doing Streets LA. But so I ended up going down there because I was curious because I knew a little bit about Scientology, from my CPAB days, and I went down there, and it was more like I was just curious. It was more like, at that time I thought it was like a First Amendment thing, freedom of religion, protest, freedom of press and speech, and I just was interested, curiosity wise, and I had no intention of ever getting involved until I met Laura, and I'm sorry, I said I'm bad with pronunciation. Laura and Serge, and the two of them, they were so generous and kind, and really spoke to me, and really like explained everything. They're just so good at, they know what they're talking about, and they know how to get you to feel what they're saying. Like it had such an impact on me that I'm like, no, I need to get involved with this. This is, and then eventually it's like, this is going to be my life. Like it's like my calling. I have got to get like really commit to this because of the impact that those two had, and really explaining and breaking it down to me why no more kids in Scientology is important, and the rest is history.
yeah.
I agree. And I know we've spoken in the past, but for those that may be on your channel that don't know, is I ended up in bed with an injury and watched the videos, watched Streets, watched DOA, and then got to know Michael and Serge, and through them, Lara and Nora and Liz, and just hearing their stories and having some compassion and empathy for what they lacked because of the abuses that Scientology did with them, plus the emotional growth and their psychological and physical issues. And then meeting Serge Obolinski, that kind of put a fire under my butt too, especially with the person as with a disability myself, knowing the hurdles and the mountains you have to climb through just to be a part of society sometimes. And so having both of those, the governmental background with the disabilities, helped me. I thought maybe there's something I could do. So I met up with Audit, and then the rest is history. So
it's you are a very good duo, and I think and I don't know how much you speak in the background, probably on a daily basis, but I think we need people, and that's what is so important for me to show Europe that the problem in Europe is so many different laws. So not everywhere people can protest like they can protest in the US. That you have mainly in the US, you have the, oh, I forgot now the name, sugar.
Mhm.
Constitution, free speech, and etc. I'm not saying we don't have free speech in all the countries in Europe, but in every country in Europe, it's different. And you have to be very careful. As an example, specifically Switzerland, where you can go to protest, but you need to ask for a permit for that. If you want to video, then you will, or stream and record, but then you have to pixel out every single person in your video. It takes a lot of time for things like that. If they are near, say, the guys, the ministers, volunteers, they have to be 5 meters away from the stand, but there are strange rules, and you have, I don't remember how many, 25 or 26 cantons or counties or states in Switzerland. And each state, again, has different laws, a bit similar like in the States, and you have different laws in each one. But Switzerland is such a small country, and you have all the, so every time they go to another county to protest, they need to figure out what can they do. And Germany is quite similar. France and Belgium, I can't really tell you, but able to be activist, if you understand, because they are so tough. The laws are so tough in Europe. If we have more people online doing what they need to do or would like to do, like me, I want to get more former Scientologists to speak out in Europe, or Belgian former Scientologists, or don't really go on screen, or they go anonymously because they are so scared.
Mm-hmm.
They're
I think that really promotes doing things online and in the background, because they can get involved without having to worry about the backlash or the legal aspects of protesting and holding a sign or in front of an org, and maybe calling into their parliament or their governmental bodies.
Yeah, well, I remember the activist group for the German-speaking countries in Europe. So they're based was saying in their interview with T from Australia that you can only have one thing, and it has to be the size of an A4 paper.
Well, they
And
do that
only
even here in city council.
one.
You have to wear it, or or else if you have a sign, you have to wear it. It has to be part of your clothing, and you can't have anything bigger than it, right? Like an 8 by 11 piece of paper to carry. So they try to restrict it here too.
So I guess
Yeah.
knowing the local laws and the local guidelines is really key.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But when when she was with Dan Walks LA near the museum, she coming out of her van. So I don't know. This, for example, in certain countries, you're not allowed. In Edinburgh, we can't do very much. There's a tiny little org here.
Mm-hmm.
You can see
So
I'm
in the Europe area, Brigitte, what would be your goal? What would be your end result in your area where you would have
goal is to have more former European Scientologists speaking out.
Yeah.
And therefore, for us in Europe, what is important is people like Liz, Serge, I might forget people, but this former Scientologists to tell their stories. Because I've been reading a lot of online newspaper articles, especially at the moment in France, where they don't speak about human trafficking. They don't speak about child, etc. This needs to come out. People needs to know that. And I interviewed last year the SP chef. He's based in Switzerland, he wasn't born in, but he grew up in Scientology, and he was sent to St. Hill when he was 13 or 14. And they asked him the first time he was in, and at the age of 14 he went to St. Hill to the Sea Org, but that was without the consent of his. For me, is child abuse and it's human trafficking. As a parent, I wouldn't send my kid away, would you? I mean, so in Europe, but we have hardly anyone talking about it. I interview a French former Scientologist who was one of their top auditors in French. It was a really, really good interview, but because it was to be more multi-language channel, obviously with the languages I speak. I speak 4 languages, but it's difficult. There's another former Scientologist from France, but he wrote a book that but it's under a pseudonym, so it's not his real name. I wouldn't even know how to contact him to interview him. And he says at the beginning of his book, it's to and children, and I am assuming he has still contact with family within the cult. So look at these people in America. They are not scared anymore. It's time not to be scared anymore. And you're not alone. We want to get rid of this, right? But I can't do it all on my own, and I'm a very tiny channel. So, but I'm just going to continue until someone listens and try to find other people. And I'm researching stuff in France because there was a little bit of a scandal in Olympics last year about Tom Cruise. And, he received the medal of whatever, probably, because sometimes the French are cheap. Sorry for that, for the French. But from the minister of whatever who gave him the medal has some links with Scientology, because I hear gossip, but I don't have, the real information that I need. So I can do that as well, because I think it's important. They didn't need Tom Cruise last year, seriously. The Summer Olympics is going to LA next time. I suppose it was, I don't know. I can't. So one thing I want to talk about is someone walking around the big blue. It makes me cringe, and it. When I see the planters, I am really angry. And
The planters are a symbol.
they had to remove the planters because of whatever. And around this bloody Scientology building, they're still here since June. I said, oh, since the encampment. And I agree with you guys. You're both in wheelchairs, getting out of a chair, and there's about that much between the car and the plant. How can you even first open a door and how to get out? So I don't come out with my legs going on the ground. My legs go straight on. So where would my feet land? It is not. My understanding is I do not understand the logic of City of LA that this hasn't been removed from.
Well, welcome to the club. I don't think we understand their logic either, Brigitte.
We're finding out where the safe pointing is. That's all.
Yeah, and it's definitely symbolic.
Sorry, I thought I heard some planters were removed, or was some?
Yes. Well, Matt went and did another count, and the count is, I believe, around 35 less than it was, maybe, and I saw for myself, there's one little strip of a corner where some are removed, and they do have citations. They have been fined. They did request, Scientology requested a hearing for exigent circumstances. They had to pay $5,000 to have this hearing, but then then it was canceled, and I'm still trying to find out exactly why it was canceled. I'm guessing they canceled it with maybe all the pushback, but there is a process going on. But it took, I think, and the citations did go out early. The building inspectors have been out. They are getting complaints against them, but the city itself could do more. They did for down on the same street further down on Sunset. They did have they were putting planters out to prevent homeless encampment, and they didn't wait for them to remove it. The city went and removed it, and that's same Hugo's district. So if Hugo could do it there, he could do it here. But there's a lot involved because they're so ingrained here. They're ingrained in the fabric of, I would say, local help. They're there to assist neighborhoods with cleanups and graffiti this, and we offer this, and we give parties, and we support the police, and so they're so ingrained for so long. I think it just makes it tricky, and especially people who are elected, or they're chosen by the mayor, and to say the mayor is sympathetic. They're trying to weigh I think they're trying to weigh all the options, and I think that they're like deer with their eyes stuck in the headlights, and sometimes don't know what to do. Oh, sorry, my dog.
But the planters. Oh, don't worry about that. At the moment, Bonnie is snoring, and she's sleeping. The planters are actually on the public sidewalk, so they actually don't have sidewalk. They have it from the grass area. That's their property. But public sidewalk. So the city could actually come and remove.
They could, yeah, because it's the easement. It's the easement.
Oh, easement. Sorry, yeah.
No, it's okay, because it's like it technically it's the job of the building owner to maintain the easement, to get the permits, to keep it trimmed, to do everything. That's their right, their obligation. Here in California, if you own a property, it's your job to keep your sidewalks fixed. Here, but the city does have a certain right and obligation. So it's kind of like yeah, that's where it has to fall within who's. So it is their obligation, but if they don't do it, the city can come and remove it, because the city also has an obligation. So it's very confusing, the legality of it, but basically the city has the right to go, because they pick up trash, right? Throw out bulk trash. It's not the person dumping it that has to find out how to dump it. The city comes and gets it. And so they do have access to easements. So it's just
and
one
they
of
have
those things.
guidelines and rules and ordinances for the easements. to where a homeowners association would take care of what's on the property of guidelines, stuff like that. But the city has an easement rule. They have rules for the easements, such as the planters need to be made of certain things. They need to be ADA compliant. The rose bushes you can't have thorny bushes
No.
And you have
in
to have an R
in the
permit,
easement.
and you have to have
Right.
permits.
Let their dogs off the leash for a little while. They want to go and have a pee wherever they want. We all have dogs, right?
Yeah.
With thorns, it could be not very nice. They could injure
Mhm.
themselves. It's nice to make something nice or look nice, but I think it's not their role to do so. And they know that, and they know that.
Hmm.
Okay, it's completely frozen for me.
Yeah, I
And
think you froze it. There you
yeah,
go.
you're back. You're back.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on. It's StreamYard. It's not my Wi-Fi. I promise you that, because the pre-recorded video I did on Saturday had the same glitches in it. So it was StreamYard. Unfortunately, when I go live there, my computer says there's something else using your camera, and I can't figure it out. And I'm an IT person. Anyway, and I pay StreamYard, so I gonna email them. It's not good. I'm not happy. What's been not bothering me, but because I have no one to talk to and ask this question, is, are there non living on L. Ron Hubbard Way?
Are there any what? You're talking about
Any
people living?
non-Scientology or not related
Yes.
to Scientology, public people like you and me living on L. Ron Hubbard Way?
Yes, I can explain that quickly. Scientology has purchased everything but one or two of the buildings, houses on the street. But there is still, and I believe they have gotten rid of most of the tenants in their buildings. But there is still a building, and the hard part is that it's a rent control building, and rent control is a very premium here. It's, people don't want to lose that, and they're trying to evict them and force them out. So these people who are paying maybe $500 a month rent because it's rent controlled will be, now they get evicted. They may be paying 2,000 a month to have or 3,000 a month to have a similar sized apartment. And it's because, and they are told it's because Scientology only wants Scientologist tenants. So there's that for the housing advocates, and that's maybe another way. There's so many housing advocates that maybe we could get the housing advocates involved to say, hey, it is not fair to these tenants who live there just because you purchased a building. Because they're not Scientologists, they have to lose. They've been there, like, I know some of them have been there like 35 years, and it's so unfair.
So can't we, is there no way to get these tenants be involved in fighting this?
They're afraid, I believe. I mean, it's not like they haven't
Hmm.
spoken. I've spoken to, they've reached out, but I think they're afraid. I mean, look who they have as their landlord. And we know how they are with anyone that they consider an enemy. And they are actively trying to either buy them out or kick them out. And buying them out is not going to help. If they give them, they're not going to give them enough to really cover what their loss in paying rent is. And I know some of these people are elderly, they've been there for a very long time, some are sickly, and it's just horrendous what they're doing. So if they're afraid to fight, I would like to put a call out to any of the there's a lot of housing advocates, housing lawyers, everything here that really would be that's maybe an avenue that we could really get on our side. There's different avenues, and not to change the subject either, but also that LA has a very big LGBTQ plus community, and look, and with the views on that community by Scientology, I don't think the city knows how, what they're how drastic and draconian they are, and that's another community that can maybe help, represent, the kids going through this, that are going to be forced to whatever, like and whatever they're put these kids through, it's we need the community as well to stand up. Like there's so many different communities that hopefully we can get to stand up in time as they hear the stories. I'm hoping that's why I'm hoping at these city meetings there'll be other people like, oh, I didn't know that. Let me get involved, and it could be for different
Right.
communities.
Right.
Things that you need a celebrity to be on your side. So actually going to be very serious in what I'm proposing or suggesting is speaking to or try to be able to speak to Lisa Vanderpump. She represents the LGBTQ community, does so much for dog rescues. And she's extremely well known in. If this woman behind you, the city of LA will start to listen.
I mean, anyone's welcome. Would love to have anyone. And they're so ingrained here that it's like you can't throw toss a cookie and not hit a Scientologist. So there is a lot of complication in that. But if there's different people that can take a different aspect of it, celebrities that'd be absolutely welcome, because that's what Scientology does. By
Mhm.
using celebrity to get their to the next level. But even also with, I would love to see the immigrant right groups, because look at, like they hold people's documents, they traffic them here, hold their documents. And so there's just so many little like pieces that we can ask for other groups to step up and help with each aspect. And if anyone wants to come, celebrities, yeah, we welcome you. Definitely, I would love that. Even if it's a different celebrity for each different element, but it needs to branch out. That's what right now. That's why I've been putting a call out to ask the survivors to get more involved, even if it's just writing. You can put in a written statement, just because I think they're hearing from all of us. They are hearing. They're starting to. They're kind of getting it, but it's like, well, they don't really know. It's more impactful to have somebody who's been through it to say, look, I'm telling you this because I've been through this. Like I'm an eyewitness that you have a prison system in that building. That's
Yeah.
more impactful than me coming and saying they have a prison system in their building. But to say someone come in and say, oh, I've been through that. I was, assigned to there for a couple of years. That's,
Right.
that's
You're talking
impactful.
about RPF.
Yeah, I call it a prison system. I'm not going to let
Okay.
them,
That's what I thought.
yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's all right. It's like I know they always try to sanitize the terms. No, it's a criminal justice prison system. That's why I don't call it, whatever they're volunteers. I'm like, no, they're slave labor. I'm just done with sanitizing the language. Let's call it what it is. That's the problem. They have sanitized everything. Purif, doesn't that sound lovely? Like, oh, we're going to purify. That sounds great until you realize you're basically, could kill somebody with that. It's not purification. So all their terminology that they use for trickery and deceit, we need to just get rid of it and really say what it is. That's just my opinion, but that's what I try to do.
I'm exhausted just listening to you.
Sorry, I like to talk a lot.
One of the, Bridget, if I can
Yeah, go
chime
ahead.
in just a little bit, is that all of these ideas are so great, and there's so many avenues in so many ways that Scientology needs to be hit in order to take control and to get the kids out, to stop the abuses. That, I mean, we don't have, it's not like the March for Women where there's a leader and somebody coordinates everything, and all the marches and the protests and the advocacy and education and the PR. There, we don't have a leader, and we're never going to have a leader because this just isn't like that. But the open crowdsources is if you have an idea, if I'm going to pick on Peter Anderson, if Peter Anderson had an idea about going to the legislature, do it.
Yes.
Don't wait for somebody to invite you or to bring it up to you. Do it and let other people follow you. Sorry, Peter.
No,
I
no,
always
it's
pick on
true.
Peter. But
And
that's
everyone will
what,
find their
if
way. Yeah.
It distracts me.
Huh?
Yeah, Peter is always around. Thank you. Guys, I will look at your comments later, but I removed it from my screens because I get distracted and I want to concentrate on you. Sorry.
I know, I just happened to see Peter in the comments, so I was picking on him.
Yeah, as soon
I
as you
can't
said
see
his name,
chat,
I
but
knew who you meant. Um, I can't always. I used to your daily lives, which you changed to sunshines, which I really like the name. Unfortunately, it's now while I'm at work, so I can't. And I try to watch it on replay, but I managed to get one on replay. I think it was the one from Thursday or Friday, can't remember which day, where you were reading a report that Scientology guys wrote about what's happening. I was wondering, how did you get your hands on this?
I did the
Which
CPRA request from the, you mean where Jennifer's log? That's
um,
Jennifer's log,
oh,
and
it's
I
Jennifer's.
requested.
Oh,
Jennifer wrote that, yes, and it's her their attorney Bill Delvac who is using because he's now their lobbyist, the attorney and lobbyist. So he's using her log to lobby that basically the cult is in so much danger. They're with all these horrible criminals and so that they need to protect themselves, and that's why they should be allowed to break federal ADA laws and they should be able to, that the laws don't apply to them because they're in absolute danger of us. And that's where that came from. But I do a lot of CPRA requests and because I'm an investigator by heart. By nature, I just need to dig deeper. If I have a question, I want to know why. And that was the biggest thing. Like I really honestly thought that Mona and I were going to go to maybe one, maybe two public works meetings and that was going to end it. They were going to resolve the issue. But the fact that that didn't work out that way, not even close, like it caused me I have to dig deeper and I need to find out why. And and so all these different things are coming in and a lot of times they're very resistant to giving info, but then every now and then, that you got a nice drop and this was the drop and I have more coming regarding the attorney so that there's more coming. I just want to go through and make sure try to cross out because sometimes they like to leave the names in or leave phone numbers in or whatever, so I'm working on that.
Yeah, the CPRA is the California Public Records Act, which is the American
yeah.
Freedom of Information Act. So it basically gives you the right to um, find and look at all documents, governmental documents, that they're open to the public
With a lot of restrictions, unfortunately,
Oh,
with a
well,
lot of
yeah.
but
restrictions.
we get what we can.
It's better than nothing. I would always
Yeah, well, we really see a
It is.
pattern of how they react. We see Jennifer crying to, we see a lot of them. It's Jennifer, it's Olivia McDuff, it's even Moxon begging and just berating the city attorney, fire department, police department, city council, everybody to protect them from these horrible criminals. And it's just a push, 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 push. So a lot of it, like at first I thought it was just, oh, they're already paid off or they're in cahoots already, but I think a lot of it is just, it's so much pressure for that they put on them. I think that they finally kind of like, okay, we'll give them something. That's why I think, and I mean, I could be wrong. It could be that they're all in cahoots. Who knows? But but that's what we see is this pattern of them constantly. You have to help us. You have to do this. We do this for the community. Whatever, and it's just endless.
Mm.
Well, I
And that's
don't know
the
what
little
they're
bit that we
doing
get
for
to
the
see.
community, but when they do something, there is a reason behind it, and it's
Mhm.
for their advantage, not for the community, really.
Right, but but when you're
Right?
like, like a police officer and they come and clean up all the graffiti, they're like, okay, well, they look good to us right now. You know what I mean? So it's that it's trying to get our job right now is to get the city entities to realize that exactly what you said and to realize it's not worth it. That what they're doing is for show. It's a dog and pony show. But what goes on behind closed doors is the real story and you're never going to get there because you're blinded by this bling in the front. And that's the challenge right now. And that's why us relentlessly going, we have to be as relentless as they are. They, I kind of learned their tactics from them. And we had to be relentlessly telling the truth, telling the real story. And in time, hopefully, at the very least, it does seem like there's some pushback where they're saying, I don't really like, like the president of, it feels like they're pushing back and like they're not accepting as many meetings with them or accepting, visits to everyone's saying no, it seems, which is a great thing because I think they're starting, but we need to keep pushing. And that's why I've been putting out these calls to order. And that's why I thank you for bringing us on here so we can continue asking for people to get involved in different ways.
So,
Especially
Brigitte,
go on.
go ahead. I was going to say, I really related when we were talking the other night and then yesterday with Michael, of like when all of us are training our dog. I mean, you can go and you can use a shock collar or you can beat them, you can yell at them, but that's not the best way to train a dog. Train a dog is if they're chewing your shoe, you go and you grab the shoe and you hand them something they can chew on. So you replace the bad behavior with the good behavior and what's expected and what you want them to do, and you retrain them. And that's exactly what I hate to say it and use, like we're going to train them like dogs, but that's what we're doing is we're retraining society and retraining the government people on expected proper behavior.
Yes,
That's an
that's
easy way to
perfect.
understand it for most of us. Yeah.
And I live here, so I need my city fixed. That's what really made me mad and really and sparked the passion. It's like, how dare this cult have so much influence and power and and their tentacles in my
Exactly.
city? This is like my city, And I was so angry about it, and so I was like, no, we have to remove them because if my theory is okay, we want to rescue those kids, and but if I can't rescue the ADA community from these planters, they're not going to go in and rescue kids. Let's just be honest. And so it's like what Mona said, we're going to train them. We got to, here, you got to you have to make them obey the law on their, and on the easement, you got to enforce the laws there. So then maybe then we could go to the bigger ask and say, well, you need to, enforce the law when it comes to children and auditing and, and what they do with the seniors and all these other things. And so it's like, it's baby steps and progressive.
What, for example, what is the FBI actually doing? Because
Nothing.
I can't remember, was it in the 70s, 80s, that cult where the FBI came from the air, from the sun, children inside that cult? I can't even remember if it was, I can't remember the name. I watched so many documentaries of the cults, but the FBI arrived from every angle and left, right, and center. And Scientology is still here since the 50s.
Mhm.
I read an article from a Scottish journalist in the Herald newspaper online, and he wrote all about the Texinu, but in a way that to make you understand it's ridiculous what I'm writing here, but it's true. That's what Scientology is. So to make people understand, it's not a bloody religion, it's sci-fi. And what I don't understand with LA, look, since I was watching Hollywood movies, my dad loved English language. He loved the old movies, and we all loved them. I Doris Day, you know what I mean? Gregory Peck, all these guys. And I always wanted to go to LA. But to be honest, a lots of lives from streets when he does film The Police LA. As a tourist to LA. There was an incident last year, for example. Sorry, that's not Scientology, but still, this has to do with the police. Is they Hollywood Boulevard, one of the street vendors probably didn't like his face. I don't know. Called the police. He's being, I'm going to say arrested because I don't understand the difference between detained and arrested, but he's being arrested, put in handcuffs. What the F, right? So you see that live and you're wondering, he just crossed the bloody road. He hasn't done anything wrong. And
Yeah.
nearly an hour. Um, that's the police. So I'm worried if something happened to me as a victim, am I because the police is not doing their job? Or you're watching what happened to Michael. You watch, I've seen one of the lives that I remember the best and really horrifying calling to the police commissioner meeting is Laura explaining to two young police officers that she grew up in there and explained what's going on in there, and they were laughing and I was disgusted. This is something police officers, they're here for the public, they should listen because they could, but they didn't
Yeah.
seem to take it in and to take her seriously. And I was so angry. And you could hear that she was getting angry too because her voice was going up. This is the one me the most because I was like, listen to her story. But they were just,
Well, you have to understand, like Janet Whelan, that's why I call her out. She's on two of the CPAPs. See, LAPD has it's like a group, it's called CPAB, a Community Police Advisory Board, and it's community members. And you have to go through a certain process to be part of it. I used to be part of it. And it's like you get to hear from the police firsthand, and then you take that information to your community wherever you have influence. And then you're supposed to take from the community what you gather back to them, to just where the community feels on things. But it was really more of it's just like it became more of like it's just a cheerleader squad for LAPD. They really don't want to hear any criticism because I told them they were doing an emergency preparedness event, and there was a new Scientology. They were all on the board. The two of them were on that CPAB, and they were offering their place for free for them to have this. And the community was upset. They're like, no, we don't want Scientology in our community. We don't want to go there. Like, we don't want it. And I would bring back, I said, this is what I'm hearing from my little realm. They don't want this. And I told the captain, and he's like, and other people did too. It's not just me. A bunch of people were bringing the same feedback. And he's like, well, I don't care. They're offering it for free. And, it's a state of the art, yada, yada, yada. And they're on the CPAP. And I'm like, well, what if we try to find something else that's free? And that way these other people, like it satisfies the community. And he's like, I don't want to hear another word. And we like almost like we're in trouble. And that was like that was back in what, 2015, no, 17, I think. And now that same captain is a deputy chief or a commander. And I got through the CPRAs, found out that he's been to Big Blue for meetings with them to train them and to work with to talk to their security 6 times. They said that he's been there and he's still working with them and he knows what I'm doing. I know he does because I see him at City Hall and he just acts like he doesn't know me and he knew me. He knows me. But and that's what it is. They implant themselves. They're on the bids. They're on the Chamber of Commerce's. They're on the neighborhood councils. So they're so enmeshed and sitting side shoulder to shoulder as the support system of police, fire, everything. They're everywhere. That's what I mean. They have a stronghold. So when they're talking Scientology and this thing, like Janice had like probably 30 years to tell them how great they are and how horrible everyone misunderstands them. So they hear Laura, like talking, and maybe she's upset about something. They're hearing 30 years of Janet rather than 2 minutes of Laura. And that's what goes back to what Mona's saying. We have to take away that slipper and replace it with something else. But that's a long process. And it has to be a continue. Like, we can't give up. So many people say, like, don't you get frustrated? Why don't you just give up? It's not worth it. It is always worth it. Never give up, and just always be persistent, because then we have to be like the dog too with the bone, and you're not getting that bone out. You know what I mean? Like the dog holds on to it and they're not going to let it go. We have to be like that. We have to be tenacious, and we just have to be patient too and have grace, because like they've had a long time at this with nobody challenging their narrative. And now they're being challenged, and now they're like, huh? They don't know what to make of it. And but I believe in time. I already feel like we've seen progress, and I don't think it's going to take as long. It's not going to take us 30 years. And but that's why it's really important. That's why the emails that the more they get bombarded, because they'll tell us, like OIG will say, oh yeah, we're hearing this from a whole lot of other people. Cops are like, yeah, we're hearing, they're hearing it from. I'm like, yeah, that's thank you everyone who's doing the call of actions. It's you guys. So yeah, we may be speaking at the meeting, but you guys are backing it up with your emails, and they are getting it, and they're hearing it, and they're remembering it. So that's my take on that. Sorry, I go on and on. Don't get me started with this
So,
stuff.
to Mona, we were in general talking a lot last year about trying to get that moved, and we haven't heard much of this anymore. I don't know if people still continue to go on the resource page and doing so everyone can do it. Um, shall we start a campaign again?
It's definitely, it's the resource page, the SPTV dot space was definitely a space where people could go to find out who was online, find out resources, find out the different information. And it kind of went by the wayside when the personalities started conflicting and people didn't start using it or continue using it. And it may be a good reservoir dump to put more information on again if people, I mean, it's already there. Why reinvent a wheel that's already been invented? And you guys got a lot of work into it. So it could be an idea. I probably wouldn't have time to populate it, but if somebody wanted to take that on as a job, like you were suggesting, maybe putting the meetings on the resource page or how to get onto the meetings, maybe a little tutorial. That those are excellent ideas, and I'd be more than happy to help somebody, but I just wouldn't be able to populate it. But that would be a great thing for somebody to do. That would be
Yeah,
a great behind
I
the
mean,
scenes project.
it's something to put together every week. Perhaps every week something might change or being cancelled, so we can change it. But to have it in one place on the resource page, so you don't have to.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry. No, I'm sorry because when it froze, I didn't know if you're where you were. But what I can say, I did send you two of the resources, and it populates itself. Like the one link I sent for the weekly meetings, you just have to look at it, and then the city updates it itself, and it will say if there's a cancellation, and the agenda will be there. So it's a really self-populating. But I woun't mind either. Maybe like I don't know because Mona and I did talk about doing a live explaining this. I wouldn't mind doing maybe doing a live with the just a basic explanation that somebody could watch a
Yes.
short video and say how you can find this stuff yourself, how you can have it sent to you, and basically what's important, what's not. And I could even do it. Just I don't mind doing a video in that sense if you wanted
Yeah,
to put a video out
I
there.
have. I have. You sent it to me before we went live, so I'm gonna have a look at it later on.
Right, and I can supplement with the video, because
Uh,
I am all about trying to educate, and I think that's part of it too. Is this I think a lot of the people like a year ago, they maybe didn't know where to look or go, but see now as time progresses, and it's probably a testament that you've done such a great job, is that people have learned, they know who's on, they know how to look, I think they're getting it with the meetings, and there's a lot of people putting the information out, so I think it's just a lot of they're kind of getting the wing the what's going on, and that's a testament to what you started, because I know I would go and it's like who's on and how do you find it. Everyone was new. um but yeah, I think you should resurrect it and figure out what it needs, and maybe that's a call out to everybody to tell you like what would they like to see, like how, what I mean, what would the people, what would help them. Is it maybe
Hmm.
the contact addresses for the different agencies, the legislators. There's all kinds of things that people might say, hey, like where do I, because I get people asking me, where do I, who do I text, or who do I mean, email, or what should I say? And then templates too sometimes, like, and these are things that you could really build up. And I think that'd be a great service to everybody. Sometimes
well,
they just want a template.
we also have on the resource, well, it's not exactly on the resource page, but it's under the resource tab, where that was prepared, where you can email you Congress representative from each state. That
Right.
is there. We have also the letters for Denmark was done. If you're in Denmark or not, you can send them in. Um, that was used quite heavily at the beginning, and also the was at the beginning when that was set up on there, was used actually quite well, I think. But this is now totally radio silent, so um, we only in mid-February, 10 months to do some work to pull together. If people are really happy
Maybe
to have more audit myself, we can do something. I will is on the resource page. We have stuff that Mona has given us, links how to go for reporting to for the tax exempt and the FBI complaint.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was other stuff from other people. There's also the I the change.org. How, what is it? Petition. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I knew. There's a petition as well going on. I think that's been
maybe
quite
a
good.
little rebranding might help. A little, I think, there was a certain, sometimes issues, conflicts, whatever, and you might need to redo its own branding and have it set up as its own thing and its own entity, and put new life in it, and just ask everybody to get it out and share it.
Yeah. Well, I thought I was gonna do a video, not a live, a video, because apparently StreamYard, but a video where people can actually watch where to go on the resource page. Um, Everyone has been a bit silent because of family issues and personal issues, but we need to kickstart the people more involved, and so that I can put this resource page back on track, and for people place to get the information or to do something to help, right? And not trying to figure out post on Audit's channel or on Mona's channel, on this channel or on that. There's one place they can go and find it. So whatever else there is that you need help with, that we can
Yeah,
put
I think
there.
that's great.
I think you guys can't do everything. There's only 24 hours in a day and only
True.
7 days in a week, and as well eat, sleep, right?
Mhm.
And other things. You have a private life as well, right?
Every now and then.
You have families.
Every once in a
Sometimes.
while.
So starting perhaps a little, I will call army, um, to help you out. I can help you as much as I can, but I can do it more over the weekend because of that job. Because I leave very early, I have to go into Edinburgh. It takes me an hour to get there. Takes me an hour to get home, and I come home late. Well, late around 7 o'clock. So then I have to, take care of the dogs because, all day long they're not happy. Then eat, and then it's my time. And usually I wake up in front of the television at 1 o'clock in the morning. I haven't had dinner yet. So yeah, I have a bit of a strange sleeping pattern at the moment. So yeah, I can help you over the weekend, and I'm gonna try my best to do that. to look into and see what we can remove, what we can add. And if you have anything, just let me know and we'll add it.
Well, one thing I could say, tomorrow is the fire commission meeting, and they do allow written comment. And one thing about the fire, it's the fire chief and the commission, they've been very receptive. And I don't want to throw yet the battalion chief, who's been he's new and he's being hornswoggled by um Scientology, because they had the car. I don't know if you remember this incident where they had the car out there, and they said, well, we need it here because we have the key. If there's ever an emergency, we can move it. But we have these horrible criminals, harassing us, and we're scared that they're going to barrel down the street and, kill Scientologists, stuff like that. And so the fire department actually said, okay, and they accepted that. And that's absolutely crazy. It's like, no, like, you cannot let them get away with that. And like, you don't even verify if it's true. You just see protesters, but that's what I mean. They're so convinced that, because it's, I guess, a church. They're upstate, they have so many people on their side that they just accept it as true. Even their own attorney is accepting this information as true and submitting it as if it's truth. So it's really getting their attention, and they're very receptive. And I know for a fact that the fire commission, if you put in the comment, it will go to all the commissioners. And I would say, just be like, these are people who are really respectful, nice, and just respectfully tell them that the battalion chief of it's station 35, battalion 35, and what's going on, what happened, what you've seen, and just say, please, like, if they're getting it wrong, here's and correct everything that's wrong, correct the story. And if everyone would do that before 5, we've got 2 hours to get it in, that would help. It really would. I promise you, because I know you can't come there and there's no call-in feature, but if you guys could write in and just say, can you please look into 35? Can you please, talk to, you can even say, can you talk to AuditLA? She's, if she's there, can you talk to her and have her tell you, like, on the side, the truth of
Right.
the matter?
Yeah.
And please, like, here's her, give them my email. That's fine. Give them my email. Do all that. But when they're hearing from more than just me, because they know, if they're hearing from like 10
Yeah,
people,
I get it.
saying, like, we're really concerned about this, they have to take that into consideration.
I
And that would
always
really
give
help.
the example when I was, because I've been on the other side of the boards and commissions on this, and we always had one crazy lady that always came in and she would talk about the same topic all the time. And when she came through the door, everybody would be like, "Oh, quick, run! Shh. Don't let her see you. Don't look at her, because if you look at her, she'll look at you." And it was the crazy lady. I don't want to be the crazy lady. I'm not going to be a crazy lady standing there
Mhm.
just me. Either come with me and be a crazy lady with me, or I ain't doing it, because I'm not being the crazy lady. So,
Exactly.
let's all start working together on being crazy together, okay? And that would be really nice.
Well,
Audit,
if
can
you
you
can
look
give
up
me
the
this
email
stuff
address?
or the
Huh?
Audit, can you look
information
up?
so that we can put it on the resource page and get people to write in.
I was going to
Well,
And
post it in
I
the
sent you the
comment
email. It's
right
the
now.
fire commission one. The fire commission. I
Yeah,
sent.
give me that email address verbally, and I'll write it in right now.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm gonna have to get off and do that.
Okay, look it up.
Well, it's on the agenda. Hold on, let me look.
Oh, you're taxing my brain, woman. You're
continuing you,
taxing my
I'm just
brain.
gonna start starring the
What if I just post it when we're done and post it on my wall? Because I'm not even, because it's the like the boards and commission meeting. Hold on, it's the fire one here. Fire commissioners agenda for public comment. It's LAFD Fire Commission at lacity.org no later than 5 p.m. today. And it's already 3:04. Did you get that? LAFD Fire Commission at lacity.org. And you guys have a little less than 2 hours. It would be extremely helpful to say, hey, please listen to, because I like, usually I can't speak at the fire because it goes the same time as the police. And right now we really got to get the police in line, because of a fire, it's important. But right now, it's the police. So since the police is canceled, we can focus on the fire. And it needs to be dealt with because they cannot have these and they're trying to say that they put these barriers because of us. And we found out that no, they were putting those fire barriers 20 years ago. People were going to the city council meetings begging them to get rid of those fire barriers on the street. So they've been doing this for decades. They're lying. And then they say, I'm calling the fire chief a liar. I was like, I don't remember doing that, but I will call Scientology a liars because they absolutely are.
I
think
posted the email in the chat for those that would like that email, LAFD Fire Commission at lacity.org.
And you have a little under 2 hours. Let's set the record straight. And then that's what would really be helpful. Because you know what, the call-ins, like they're really limiting the time and there's no call-ins for the city meetings. Really the public comment by email or by Google Forms, whatever it is that they put in their link, that's going to be really the biggest help we can get right now, more than calling in. It's just that backup. But just remember, it's part of a permanent record. So don't think that you're anonymous. It's not. This will be it's publicly accessible. So anyone doing CPRAs, so don't put anything, you could use a fake name, whatever, unless you don't care. But just to put that caveat. But this is how you guys can really help.
And there was just a question.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm listening to you, Odette. I'm just starting to star questions and comments for you.
Mm-hmm.
And get the people to write in.
Thank you, guys. They're always.
Because I know.
They're amazing. Yeah, if we could just get a few for tomorrow, and I'll ask. I'll go there because they're very nice and very receptive. I love the fire commission and the chief. They've been so nice to me. I see them on the street. I see them in the hallways. They're so cool with me, and and they thank me. Always thank me for coming, and they're like the ones. So, but I don't want to I don't want to attack the battalion chief. I think he's just new and it doesn't really get it. But so I want to lovingly redirect.
I'm sorry. I've got the picture and the vision of you taking your slipper with you tomorrow and smacking the fire chief on the nose. Knock it off. Stop
yes,
it.
Kevin, stop. I think that she might hear. I don't know. It's funny, and but that's what we need to do, and we just need to, and then the point of like, well, he's like, well, we could. So I think the fire chief really believes that their story, that they're so afraid for their lives.
He does.
So yeah, and so they're like, okay, yeah, we can get through. But I called him out on it, saying, well, you're slowed down. He's like, well, aren't you slowed down when you go? If you had to go through it. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not somebody's golden hour. You are, and it's like, this is what we have to get them through, that their fear is not founded on anything because it's been a year. They have gotten 0 restraining orders, 0 convictions on anything, 0, everything falls apart. So it's like, where's the basis? Where are you collecting evidence to say that they're in any kind of danger? They're not. And so it's just manipulation, and it's got to be called out. It's got to be faced head on.
Okay, I'm nearly finished.
I want to say that Asi Oi 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 asked what's the name of the street names and the planners. So that way, if you're starting to get writing now, LRH, which is L. Ron Hubbard Way, and Fountain Avenue.
And Catalina for the rose bushes. Because all of that is going to prevent the fire department from adequately getting through. Can you imagine, like, if they have to do an ambulance call there and then they have to go through, thorny rose bushes to, bring out a patient? It's just ridiculous. It's just.
That's what was annoying me last year when the protester was saying, when they closed off LRH, Hubbard Way, they were saying, oh, they is watching it on. I watch YouTube on my television. I said, if they can go through there, I don't believe it. But then also, that you remember after you spoke to them, or they're going to go and visit. But they announced their visit, so they removed some of the planters on L. Ron Hubbard Way. So
exactly,
obviously the fire department said, oh, there's enough space. Yeah, but you shouldn't come and tell them when you should just turn up. That's what bothers me, because there's no logic behind
Right.
it. When you want to find out if, especially when, and I mean, it's not only for the people who are not part of Scientology, also the Scientology, if someone
Yes.
is ill or, had a heart attack or there is a fire, they need to be rescued too. I don't
Exactly.
get that. But why do you have to tell them when you're coming? That was really
So annoying.
something that really,
Well, I think they do it because I think that the
excuse me,
fire department, especially since, I'm sorry, because it's glitching, so I can't hear if you're done yet or not. But I believe they think that Scientology is acting on good faith. I mean, I believe, I like, I'm because I'm going to try. I can't have that everybody is evil. I think this battalion chief is like thinks that Scientology is acting on good faith. They're really scared. They're really whatever. This is really going on for them. And so how can we, help them? So I think that he probably reached out and said, hey, well, and then they are just, they don't know the manipulations and what they do yet. That's what they need to learn. And that's why all this counter pressure is very important. And I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt. He may be the most corrupted, paid off, Scientology, whatever. But just on it, just even if not, I think everyone, the community thinks that they act in good faith. And that's the perception that we need to counteract. They are not acting on good faith at all. There's not anything that they do that is in good faith. But that's the part that, most people don't want to believe that. They don't want to think that a religion, a church is acting in bad faith. It's hard to get people's minds to wrap that around that. And that's why even with Shirt Guy, we had that for a long, like, he's like, I don't believe this. Like, I'm going to go check it out. And then he saw how, but just because he talks to me, they kicked him out and they told him he's going to be, basically doomed and all this stuff. And he's finally getting it and, starting to, speak up about it a little bit because he believed that, like, yes, that can't be true.
uh, but also, you see, that is the thing, because these planters, these were the heavy duty stuff ones,
Yeah.
not they really so they needed some kind of forklift to lift them up, to remove them. So it was great for Scientology, yes, to know in advance when they were coming, because they could remove them or
Yes. And
put
I'm
them where
convinced.
there was more space.
I am convinced because I saw before and after. And I came after he did his drive through and he sent me, I have the video of the drive through. And I'm like, these are further apart. They were still there, but I am convinced like that they were further apart than they had been previously. I am absolutely convinced. And like, I didn't
So
measure it. I wish I had, but just visually seeing, you could see it opened up some.
Well, yeah, just that weekend.
Right.
Yeah. They went and moved him.
Yeah, absolutely. I am, I mean, I would love to have caught them doing that. And that's why another thing why, it is good to have eyes on because they have all the surveillance cameras, but I wish we had, some just cameras I wish we had somebody like Kaiser that would let us, look at at footage or whatever. Cause that's what's really helpful too, is the eyes on, like, and I give hats off to Matt, who like right after surgery still made sure we had eyes
Right?
on, thank you, Matt, that we had eyes on that event Saturday. And I know he wasn't feeling good. You can hear it in his voice. He was not feeling himself yet, but he made sure. And it's that kind of commitment. And look at and Kelly saying, I need to get down there again. And all the commitment to like we know we need these eyes on, and that's also really helpful. And I appreciate everyone that's doing that as well.
it is a pity though, when when they arrested my curtain because they hurt him. Unfortunately, the ambulance didn't come from Fountain Bay. It came from, what
The ambulance couldn't
is
even
it
get in
called?
there.
They couldn't. Yeah, and they
I
They
wanted him
thought
had
to
to
walk
they said the
outside.
ambulance came all the way up to him.
Nope.
Obviously not then.
Nope, they had to move the planters at the end of both of the end of the other way to get it in there. They
Oh,
couldn't get him. They were going to make him walk. They were going to make
no.
him walk to the end of the road.
Yeah, I think they went to the other side. 'Cause, well, they had to. I think they were able to barely because it's a smaller vehicle, but they had all this stuff closing it. They had all this fencing and they had all the stuff to close both sides beyond the cement blocks. But any of that is going to slow down your golden hour. If he was in a trauma situation, he would have lost a huge chunk of his hour, and that is
Yes.
unfair, and that needs to be called out on and pushed.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Okay, ladies, you don't mind if we start to go through some comments and questions?
Sure.
Okay, as if I have missed anything, but I'm not used to have such a long and big chat, so I apologize if I have missed something. But it's it's late now, so my eyes are getting a bit tired. So gonna screen from Amy. Hard to get a baby out of a car with the planters in the way. I would not get my daughter out on the street when she was a baby.
Yeah, I mean, you could trip. Like you're
Oh,
back because you have to back up. You're taking a baby out. You're kind of backing up, right? And you could easily bump into the planter and like kind of fall and lose your balance with the curb and the planter and trying to navigate that. It's
You can't
absolutely
even
right.
get your door open all the way.
Mm-mm.
no,
Hmm.
exactly, because sorry,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
string.
Yep.
But it's not very wide between the door of a car and the planters. So I don't know on which planet they live.
Their own.
But
Where's Xenu from? I mean, like not to be
oh yeah,
sarcastic, but
um, from my lovely mud Joe bananas. This is the lady I. Okay, so let's do this quickly.
oh,
She doesn't know that by now.
being sweet. It's a hot mess, my hair right now. But take it sweet.
I don't have music for that.
I love
Sorry.
Joe Banana. I always see Joe
So
Bananas
promoting
in the chat.
her channel. She writes such powerful lyrics to songs.
She does.
Have you seen some of them, Moon? Amazing,
Hmm.
Audit. I tell you,
They're amazing.
amazing. I wish I could write like that, but English is not my mother tongue. So even in my mother tongues, I couldn't write something like that. She's
Joe
amazing.
wrote one for Audit and I, and it was a really cool one. You've heard it, haven't you, Audit?
Missed that one
Yeah,
then.
she's
Yeah, yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
I have to go back. I thought I listened to all of them, but sometimes she's so quick, and then there's so much
That's true.
I forget. Okay, let's go back. Sorry, guys.
Awesome. We need to promote
Okay.
that stuff. We need to promote the music and stuff more, because I think it's important. And GG2 is like writing songs too. It's like sometimes you just need a break sometimes from all the heavy duty. And that's why comedy, anything that can uplift or make you think, or just music is a powerful tool, comedies,
It
just
is.
different things are powerful tools. So I love that. And we need to
Oh yes,
promote it
yes.
more.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
absolutely love, well, Brian Lucas does his From a Poet. He does his poetry in the morning and he takes the poetry and turns it into music. And so that way you can listen to it. And then Fluffer and Tilty are always doing artworks and art projects.
Yes, and I
And
just got one. I think thanks to
just
Kirby's mom, I think
wonderful.
got me
they
sent that.
do
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wednesday and Friday at the moment.
Hmm.
As much as but they do amazing stuff. They have great laughs. Um, the chats are beautiful because people are really loving. There's no drama. People are not nasty. It's really nice. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to mod for Fluffer because when they're live, I'm still at work and I'm missing
Yeah.
out a little bit.
And the
Yeah, and
Cultology
I don't get to watch
twins,
a lot.
the Cultology twins do a game night usually once a week. And that's a hoot. That's a hoot. We're all in there. It's
It's a
just a
bit too
trivia.
late for me.
Yeah, I know, I know. But for those of us on the East Coast, it is a little late still, but it's fun because it's good fun. It's just banter and just talking good stuff.
Yeah, positivity is good. That's why I love
Yeah.
anything positive. Oof, I love it.
Okay, Stella did want to comment things. Comment for rich patrons. Now
That
that was at the very beginning, so I can't remember.
we were talking about how things don't always get done for people of LA in the different communities in LA, but they always get taken care of for the rich people.
Yeah, now I
Although
get
the
Yeah.
it.
fire
Yeah,
kind of changed, I had to interject there,
Yeah,
and
that's
this
true.
may end up leading to more people waking up and understanding. And this is probably the first time in this city where, like, the Palisades is a very wealthy area, and they're not very happy with, I think right now, with the mayor and the handling of everything. So they're getting a little better understanding of what other people may be going through.
well,
That's good and bad. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
see that it at some stage, especially everyone around the world that has etc. Um, have noticed there are corruption going on. But please, there's not only LA, all around the world there's corruption.
That's true.
Everywhere. That's true.
Some really shown in the US than in other countries around the world. I also follow a trial that went on last, a mistrial. It's going to start again in April. Is in Massachusetts. I can't say that, Massachusetts, and
Mhm.
it's a Karen Reed. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's police is corrupt, the state troopers are corrupt, the DA is corrupt, and the investigation from the police from the get-go was so bad, and they straight away said she killed her boyfriend and he was a police officer from Boston. So
Hmm.
I'm not going. You've been shown. I watched for 6 weeks this very boring trial because the DA, the ADA, he was charisma. Compared, they have one LA lawyer in for the defendant, and he was, flamboyant, and he. That's the word I was looking for. But they were showing a lot of things, and from the get-go, they said Karen Reed was framed. So it was like, ooh,
Mhm.
Well, every now and then you
I
do see, like they cleaned up Rampart Division. I know in New York years ago when I was over there, they'll have where they come through and they clean out, and that's what I'm hoping will happen here with just this city, and so that's all it needs sometimes is a good audit. And I was hoping that the controller, Mejia, because he was always promising to do that, and he has on some level, but I really wish he would get more involved with, where's like I want to know with the police foundation. I've been saying this for a long time. The police foundation gives a lot of money to the police department.
yeah,
They supplement they already get like half the budget anyway, but they don't have to show who donates to the foundation. So we don't know how much Scientology is donating to the foundation, and then in turn they're donating to LAPD. And I confronted them, and at the time, Chief Choi was there, and he says, "Well, it's nothing corrupt. It's not like we don't know. They're not nothing going on." I'm like, "But how do you know?" Because all they would have to say is like, "Hey, look, hint, hint, wink, wink. We donated $100,000 for the safety vest that you wanted to go to. You don't think that buys influence?" And he said, "No, he doesn't. But I do believe that could buy influence with some people." You know, um,
sure.
and so like we need more transparency, and that's another push. If there's any accountants out there, anyone that could deal with the money thing, like let's get Mejia to look into this police foundation. They won't like it.
No, but yeah, I don't know how that works.
But these are just ideas. You throw them out, and then
But
you hope that somebody down the road might say, "Oh, like that's something I would like to tackle." So that's why I always put it all out there, because there might be somebody's like, "Yeah, I want to tackle that."
comment to place something on easement guidelines in the code. COS did either neither.
You need
Well,
an
yeah,
R
we
permit.
know they didn't.
Yeah, you need.
I
They are
mean,
in the process, though. They are in the process of going for their R permit. But the problem is that they're not gonna. They may get a permit, but they're gonna have to revamp everything because they're made of wood. Some of it you're not allowed. They can't be made of wood. Wood burns. We're in a fire zone.
oh, yeah.
And so they have certain restrictions, and they also have to be ADA compliant. So if they do get their R permit, which I think we should keep pushing the city to say they don't deserve the R permit because they've been so blatantly violating the laws and the rules that they don't deserve to then get rewarded for that.
And
But
on some places, the easement is completely broken, is very dangerous. This needs to be redone as well. And I would do it and charge COS for that.
right, they are being fined. I know right up now, I think it's $8,000. I don't know, but and there was talk of like $400 a day or something. I'm starting to get little glimmers of it, and I'm trying to look. And I will be releasing that. I just have to work. I have to be able. I'm going to try to work on that today, actually, to get more of that out, so you can kind of pick through where they're at with the attorney. But and so but that's it. And they're doing these processes their way, and now they're going for the street vacation. And people, if they get the street vacation, I can't tell you enough how much we need you to call and not call, but do the comments for the public comment for city council, and everyone put on blast. We do not give them the street vacation. Call Hugo's office, write to Hugo and say, we do not want this. This is public. It belongs to the city, which actually belongs to the state. Any city street belongs to the state, and it leads to a hospital. This is critical. If they get that street vacation, there's no more eyes on, no more. It's done.
Well, that's the thing, is that they need to be now be being a and all the high placed people in LA needs now to take their fingers out of their backside and look into it and make sure that they shouldn't have any favors. They're tax exempt. They don't pay any taxes. So all you taxpayers in LA are paying for all this crap they're doing. If I would be living in LA, I said, okay, I'll stop because until you haven't done your job, I'm not going to pay you. Don't know if that would work. Here in the UK, your taxes are taken off your salary. So I don't know.
You're true.
In Switzerland, you would be fined very heavily. So I don't know. But, personally, if I have to pay taxes, I'm expecting my town or my city to do their jobs.
If I can interrupt just for a second, I'm going to
Yeah.
probably have to cut in about 15 minutes.
Okay,
So
we'll go through.
I'll give
Let
you a
me
heads
see.
up.
Just quickly, I just quickly love Audit and Mona getting the praise they deserve. I totally
Thank
agree.
you,
And what I
Nancy.
told
Thank
them,
you, Nancy.
they are Wonder Women. So I'm gonna
And we don't
be a
look,
bit
we don't
more
seek that. We
selective.
just,
No, not
no,
at all.
not at all. If anything, we're gonna, thank God for.
Maybe everyone having at least one thing people can do, a call to action. That's a good hashtag.
Yeah, I put out a lot of, I do put out
I
calls
gotta
to action. I do. I often say, like yesterday at Michael's thing, at Michael's live, I said, I want to see, I didn't know about Serge doing the auditing practice. And I said, oh, I want that video. And, by the time we got done, I had four clips, four different people. And I thank everyone who did that. And I think, and don't think that, like the next time, like, well, someone else might cover it. So I appreciate everyone doing it. And so thank you guys. There you go.
stay
Perfect.
email
Yes.
address.
You have an hour and a half to get it in.
LAFD Fire Commission at lacity.org.
Then you can do it. Yeah.
LRH and Fountain
And Catalina.
and Catalina. Yeah, I forget that. Question. Question here. Craziest. I'm here for it. Will you both still do a live that will give us Scaredy Cat some pointers?
Yeah, I think that's it. We
We
talked
will.
about that yesterday, right? Yeah, we did.
We will. We will.
We're going to do that. You know what I mean? I don't like being on camera. I don't like, like I resisted all this for a very long time. But yeah, we need to do that. Make a how to
You're very
practice.
good on camera, and don't forget, Audit. We need to hear more what you're doing with Mona, what Mona is doing with you, what you're both doing. Um,
That's why I'm doing it. Like,
and I would love to have you guys back on here in a few weeks' time or in a month or so. See what's
And I'm gonna caution people to remember that some stuff has to be done behind the scenes quietly,
yeah, sure.
because you can't let them know, them being Scientology, know ahead of time, or else they'll put up roadblocks. So we
I
have to
don't have
stay
the
quiet on some of
microphone
it.
to do osa, but they're listening. We know.
Yeah. And the other thing is that if you email me something and you say, please don't tell anybody, I'm not telling nobody. I'm not telling
same.
you your name. I'm not telling you who gave it to me. If you want the praise, if you want to be known, I'm more than happy to say, Peter did it, Muriel did it, Miriam
Yep.
did it, whomever. I'm joking about Muriel, but Amy did it. I'm more than happy to. But if you don't want to be recognized, don't worry. We're not going to say your name. I'm not
We
going to do it.
both come from backgrounds where we
Oh
understand
no,
confidentiality, and that's just a part of
yeah,
a
yeah.
way of our lives. So you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about
This
that.
is this is normal, and I'm glad you said that, Mona and Odit. Um, Let me just see. Some more stuff has come in. I apologize to the chat, but I have to be a bit selective because Mona. Uh, I'm trying to read fast. Um, I don't know what they mean. Do you guys know when is the next
I
chapter?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know it'll be coming. I know. I just because I was I was holding off stuff, right? So I could write the stories with it. But I'm like, oh, too much is accumulating. So let me do a bunch of CPRA dumps
Brigitte,
and send it out.
Audit's been writing a story about Jen and her men.
Yeah.
It's the saga of Jen and her men, and so
Oh,
we were all waiting for the next chapter of Jen and her men.
I
Yeah,
love to
there you
write.
go.
Like I like to write. I like it to be beyond, just like I like to have a little bit of a creative outlet. But I know it's just been so busy too because it's like more meetings, more time. But it's like, oh, I gotta sit down and do it, and because I miss it. I know, but it's coming. Jen and her men, and
So,
Docs and Moxon.
and while you're reading through that, Brigitte, okay, chat, make Audit do this. That we want a story of Duarte,
Oh,
the officers, and the city council characters. We
okay, we'll bring them in.
we need a story of the officers and how they view the characters. Wouldn't that be a hoot?
I keep
Wouldn't
telling
that
them I
be
want to do a
funny?
calendar, and they love the idea. So that's funny too.
I
remind
think
me
that
again,
would
who
be.
is Duarte
Yeah, Duarte, yeah, he's the
again?
cute. Well, I shouldn't say he's cute, but I don't want to. I've known him for a few. Like, yeah, we've known each
He's a
other for like.
police officer that works at city council
Oh,
Yeah,
that
I
she
know. Yeah,
talks
I
to all
know
the
thank
him
you.
from
time.
the overtime. He would do the libraries in the metro too. So that's how
Yeah.
I knew him from that. So he's like, I know you, and I'm like, yeah, I know you too. Like, but then we get like a banters. They get you banter because I can't have everything. This stuff is so serious and it so can weigh your soul down. That I'm like, so I have to have levity. I have to have balance. I need to laugh. I like to have fun. And there's no reason why you can't bring a serious message, but still enjoy. Not have to be there and be a stick in the mud. So, that's where they come in. They provide a lot of entertainment. And they said that we provide entertainment for them too. I said, Don't you hate all these gadflies?" And they're like, "No, you can. You know how boring our day would be without all of you all." And so, but
Oh, he said
they're
you all.
entertaining too. Huh?
He said you all.
Yeah. Yeah. I know they're upset when I got myself kicked out. Like not upset, but they're like, "Oh my God, they're not going to make us kick you out." I'm like, "Yeah, I am." But then I went peacefully. But you know, they're fun, and you get to know them, and then they're cool with you. You're cool with them, they're cool with you. So it's good. All right, so there'll be a Duarte in the story, but Jen doesn't get them. I'll tell you the ending right now. Jen does not get Duarte. The account for the R permit is not county, it'd be city public works because they're located in the city and it'd be through the Bureau of Engineering under public works.
Okay, I hope that answered your question, Sue Perkle.
Yeah, and that would be the R permits and the street vacation all go through Bureau of Engineering.
Bureau of Engineering, yeah. And the no parking signs go through Department of Transportation.
Oh, thank you, Aussie. That's sweet. It's hard for me to go on camera, but I freak out seeing myself. I do. It's like I put the camera the other way. I always do it the other way. It freaks me out to see myself.
Peter
Peter
and the
makes
wolf.
me laugh every time.
Peter and the wolf.
By the way, Peter, proof of life. Thank you very much.
Night, Joe.
Oh, good night, Joe Bananas. Thank you. Hopefully we see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's a lot of meetings. Can I kind of plug that for tomorrow? Tomorrow we have a lot of meetings.
The LAPD commission got canceled.
Right,
but
we have fire commission.
Yep.
We have bid, which is and that's not gonna be on that list. But the bid, there's actually a Scientologist on the bid. That's that Susanna with 3 names. And thank you, Super Cool, who told us about the, the Kinnear. I didn't even know about that one, but we're finding out that she's got 3 names. Susanna Johansson, Susanna Furios, and she's on the bid. And then Yellow Shirt, remember from him from Yellow Shirt, he's the chair of the bid. This one's really important because so that's I won't be so hopefully Mona you'll stream that one because I'm gonna have to call in and I'll probably still be at City Hall, so I'm gonna have to get off stream to get that one.
Post the agenda and I'll make sure and stream it.
I think it's at 3. Definitely we want that one. And then we have at 7 or 6 or 7 we have East Hollywood. I'm not going to be able to do that in person because I'll be too tired. I have to get like Wednesday again. So East Hollywood is also very important because don't forget we have Jack who has been at least willing to listen. Hasn't been he gave us that one letter to say, hey, you're supposed to, when you do special permits, you're supposed to let us know, and you're not. So he heard us, and I appreciate Jack. So, but also Yellow Shirt is on that one, and he's a definite sympathizer of Scientology.
I've been through all the question. I don't think there's anything. Just for the last 5 minutes, can you remind us, LA audit?
Adelia.
Audit to write in the email for the fire department for tomorrow.
Yes, can everyone please, if you can, you have an hour and 22 minutes to get that in. It's LAFD Fire Commission at lacity.org. If you can write in, and it is station or battalion 35, I believe, or station 35. And it's the battalion cat chief. I mean, we're not going to throw everyone under the bus. We're not going to, we don't want to sit there and create division with our fire, because I think the fire is really the going to be the quickest to listen. So lovingly remind them or tell them about the lies that they are hearing, and to give them a counter narrative, and ask them to do better. Ask them to hold Scientology to the same laws that anyone else would be held to, and for them to please look into it, and yada yada yada.
One of the lies in particular was they used Scotty Hochstetter as an example of a psychotic person that was trying to run over a security guard with his van, and he was trying to run into the street with his van, drive through with his van, and that's why they had the car sitting there at the end of Fountain and LRH Way, because and they said, well, because they might drive their car, the van in here again, that psychotic person. So if you could pull up maybe quotes or a video of when that happened, or what the judge said about, you didn't try and run somebody over, something like that within the next hour and 20 minutes, that would be
Yep.
cool.
He
Or
did.
even
They didn't get a restraining order, right? They would have if that
no,
happened.
they did not. Or just refer to that.
Right.
So yes, it was proven meritless in court. And Jaden, thank you, was the security guard that said that. So maybe make comment to that.
Yep. Anything it can do, because this is like these little things. It's just we gotta counter their narrative, because we see it in the CPRAs, right, guys? I've posted within the past week or two. I've posted quite a few batches, and some of it's like nonsense stuff. You have to kind of weed through it, but you see a pattern of how they just manipulate the system, crying wolf. Crying that they're the victims, and making us that we're dangerous, crazy, psychotic, and yet, like, it's our people, it's the protesters getting injured. It's the protesters. They're not, not their people. No one's been injured. Like a year, like after a year, where's the evidence? Jaden Wheeler, thank you. Super cool. Where's the evidence that we're dangerous, crazy, insane mob? Like, where? Show us, and show, and get them to
Must
just
have been the
think.
day we were barbecuing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
Such
just to get
horrible
them to
people
rethink it.
barbecuing.
Yeah. Feeding the community, right? Like, how dare
You
we?
mean when the encampment
Well, in
was on?
particular, the day I was talking about was like Easter, when they said that the agitators and the bad people and that mean lady in the wheelchair was going to come scare the Easter egg hunters. But
Yeah.
those bad people, but they were barbecuing and having a party at the end of the road, Yeah,
Yeah.
it's stupid.
Oh, I have to go back to
Yeah,
watch
a
this.
couple times they've referenced me. Oh, I've been referenced quite a bit lately as like main
Oh yes, you're so
agitator, and
scary. Yes, you are so scary.
yeah, and
Oh,
they even
miss
mentioned, like, they mentioned about the water next to the electric, but when the inspector came, there was nothing wrong. Well, of course. I mean, you think I made Ted turn that stuff off immediately. You think that, by the time the inspector got there, probably a week later, you think they still had the water running on the electric? I mean, come on, like. But they were, and there were kids doing cartwheels with electricity being wet by a sprinkler. I mean, that's just, what can I say?
yes. Oh, ladies, I am so over the moon to have had you on my channel. Let's talk in the background to get stuff back on the resource page. I'm gonna first that page and see what we can keep, what doesn't need to be there. And I will do a video to remind people where they can find stuff. There's more stuff of links to books, help for protesters, help for people that might want to leave Scientology, etc., etc., etc. So
Thank you
yeah.
for having us, Brigitte.
Yes,
Thank you
thank you
so much.
very
We
much.
appreciate it.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
for
it's
having
very sweet.
time. I was really looking forward to it, and keep in touch. Let's see what we can do to put, and hopefully you have time to come back in about a month's time. Perhaps you have more info, more exciting info, or perhaps you need more help for something. So hear from you again.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. And
Thank
thank
you.
you,
Bye,
chat. I
chat.
always say hi to
Thank
chat. Thank
you.
you. You guys are the best. The best
Thank you.
detectives, the best support, everything. I love
You
chat.
too.
Bye, guys.
I just like chat with the chat, and then I'm gonna go to bed. Hopefully.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good rest of the day, and
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
I'm gonna
Thank you.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh. thank you. I have people in the chat that are on my chat and on Mona's chat. I really, really appreciate you guys for being here. I love my banner. Sorry, I have to run it a little bit. Really, that there are names I've never seen before that. Thank you, Irish. Thank you for being here. To you. I hope we can do a bit more. Let's give me some time this week and at the weekend to go through create a new video and show you what we have there. And then perhaps I'll do another video when we have more info to add from Mona and AuditLA. Much Irish, I appreciate you so much. What else did I want to say? Like I said from the banner, for the ones who haven't heard me at the very beginning, and I think at the beginning the live was very glitchy. It's not my Wi-Fi, it's Streamyard. I had the same issue on Saturday. So I'm going to email them and complain because I have the middle not happy at all. What I wanted to say, yes, I am a small channel and I know quite a few people that have small channel like me. They have either 100 or so more subscribers, and as big channels constantly are saying they want to promote smaller channels but never do, I decided I'm gonna help promote the people that are in the same situation as I am, and I channels because Jo is my mod and she's always here for me and she's always taking care of you. And not that I really need a mod because my chats are always you always are very respectful. I love the way you guys are in my chat. I try not to be nasty or bad, but sometimes I have to give you my opinion as well. And I always ask you to respect other people's opinion. Yeah. Just tunes are absolutely amazing. She's doing great work creating that. Yeah, the lyrics are just always on point. It's really beautifully. I have to say, I love that. Also, I decided I want to remind people again. Normally it's in October, but I'm gonna do a few during this year until October. Awareness. No, it's here. I might do one in the next couple of weeks. Someone, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Brad who will do one. So I might ask him to join me with that for that. What else? Oh, I'm gonna switch. I haven't done it yesterday because I'm levels, but I have a buy me a coffee page, and I will switch on the how you call that, the membership there. And the one reason is because I don't have to wait to have 500 subs. I'm far from it, and with a week ago I lost quite a few subscribers. But who, if you don't like me, well, then that's it. Fair enough. So I decided to switch on the memberships on Buy Me a Coffee. I think they're gonna of memberships and not expensive. but I need to figure out what I'm going to offer you for any kind of levels on there. It's glitching again, isn't it? It's glitching again. I just glitch. There's something popping up there. Anyway, I'm going to finish soon. It's nearly midnight over here. What else? Memberships on Buy Me a Coffee. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't do very much about that, unfortunately. Sorry. Also, if you haven't already, please send some love to my like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And also, what else? If you could spare a little bit to help further from Switzerland for the legal fees or upcoming legal fees. It's all described in the video. German Scientologist in civil and criminal court. Unfortunately, Switzerland has quite tough laws, so we can't actually divulge as much as we want. And also, FASA is under how you call that? Sorry, what is he doing? But scrutiny by Scientology, so they have to be careful what they say, what they don't say. So yeah, we have to be careful. But if anyone can help, in the description of my video, media links and also their PayPal link. Thank you very much for that. And I think I'm nearing 2 hours. But honestly, I was so excited to finally have Audit and Mona on the channel. I was really excited. To be honest with you, I was so excited all day. I couldn't concentrate at work. It was difficult to concentrate. So I'm gonna let you go. You have an hour to the thingy, to the LAFD Fire Commission at lacity.org. Help them. Tell them who will be there. Unfortunately, I can't watch it. I will watch it on replay tomorrow night, especially because I know about it. And you will see me soon again, reviving the resource page on SPT. Actually, Peter, if you're still here, I didn't put this up early on because suddenly Mona said she only had 15 minutes left. She said, "Oh, Xenius as the name and association with foundation was the reason some choose to remove themselves from the site. Some said Xenius was preoccupied." Xenius had but she moved house. Lots of things happened. Only the main page is being redone with a new name. I haven't been told what the name will be, but the rest as sptv.space. Like, for example, the resource page will be resources at sptv.space. Spoken about it yet. I haven't been in contact with her. Sorry. I've been working and being pulled into that project. I didn't have much time to concentrate on on the resources, but it's been a bit radio silent for the last 3 months, 4 months. So I want to reach again. Um, and also, obviously, I haven't been able to work on my help database, so I will have to restart working on that too. But I'm waiting until that job is finished. Contracting at the end of the first week of March. So fingers crossed after that I can take a breather and concentrate on that again. So thank you, Peter, for that. I won't say much. I'm hoping to have a meeting with Xi News and Fluffer Squirrel UK soon, and we'll discuss that and we will announce it. For the moment, I continue work on the resource page as it is, and we will see later if any changes will be done. So every the main page where you can see who is live and who is not live, um, uh, this let me see. I just want to quickly before we leave. Let's see who is live. Okay. Dan Walks LA is live. Jessica Palmadesa, literally search Fatgrammy. Well, she's live because she's connected relatable Reese. So I would say, why don't you guys, when you leave here, rate who am I going to choose? Let's rate literally search and let him know that you come from my channel. That would be great. He has always great content. I will quickly go and say hello, and then I really have to go to bed. I'll be rating my bed. Yeah, exactly. After I rated search, I'm gonna rate me. Let me just get you the. I'm just gonna copy the link of his. Not video of his live. Here we go. He has an amazing new wig. I would love a wig like that. But I hate wigs because the hair goes in your face and it's. I know. There are wigs that are very natural. Or I don't really like it. So last time we're gonna do this. I really appreciated you guys for joining me. I hope you're gonna try to help Audit and Mona. Any questions, you can contact me. My email is in my channel's description, but otherwise it's in one word, et voilà Brigitte at here. I should actually put my email address. Yeah, as soon as whenever I have time, I'll reply. I always try to reply. I'm the type of girl who wants to reply straight away. But sometimes, I'm at work, my phone is on silent. I don't want to be distracted. Yeah. And also send some love to Jo Music and subscribe to her channel as well. That would be amazing. And let's rate, search, and I wish you day, of the morning, of the evening, and of the night. Whoever is still up during the night, I don't know where you are in the world. Oh, Amy, I know, but it's me. It's me. And the bad thing is though that sometimes I expect the same from others. So, for example, on Sundays, when was that? Yesterday, I spoke to my mother video WhatsApp, and I said, "Mom, I did send you a message on Friday. Why haven't you replied?" Oh, did I have to reply? And I'm like, at least just say okay, thank you, or just something that she's 90 years old, okay? So, but she's good with her technology. Well, sometimes it's difficult because she expects me to show her stuff, but we're far away. How can I show it to her? So, she has to rely on my brother. Yeah, yeah, I know, Amy. I know. I try to be better and to be patient, but I think it's because I'm not very patient. I like stuff done. I know. I need to look. I'm getting old as well, so perhaps I'm getting better now. So who knows? Um, but I like to be efficient. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say good night, or I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day, and I hope to see you in my chat very soon again. Thank you, everyone, and et voilà.